And I'd like to do at this time the following statement. Adequate notice of this April the 26th, 2012 meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by posting written notice and agenda of this meeting on the bulletin board in this municipal building, 1000 Route 10, Whippany, Township of Hanover, by hand delivering and mailing or faxing such notice and agenda to the following newspapers: the Hanover Eagle, Morris County's Daily Record, the Star Ledger, and by filing same with the Township Clerk. I have a roll call.
On roll call, Committeeman Faramasca has an excused absence this evening. Committeeman Schleifer.
Here.
Committeeman Bruno.
Here.
Committeeman Capola also has an excused absence this evening. And Mayor Francioli.
I'm here.
Okay.
They brought in notes, so they have excused that. Somebody brought them
Three
notes.
members present.
Oh, my God. Ladies and gentlemen, would you all please join me in a pledge of allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. We have a wonderful evening tonight. We have our award-winning varsity girls basketball team with us.
Yay.
And we're we're really proud of the fact that this team, I'm just going to read some of the accomplishments that we've got here. The North Jersey Section 2 Group 1 champion, North Jersey Group 1 champion, NJS IAA state runners-up. What happened there? Son of a gun.
Girls.
Runners-up. State runners-up. Oh, you're people too. Son of a gun. And really, truly, we also like to recognize tonight, and it's going to be our honor to do not only our ladies who are here with us, but the coach, Mr. Wilson, and who has recorded his 500th career win as head of the girls' basketball coach. Wow. I guess we keep him, huh? That's absolutely fantastic. I mean, that's just fantastic. Morris County's all-time winningest coach in girls basketball, surpassing 504 career wins. Hey, wow. They're going to take you off the farm team. They're going to probably draft you for something here. We have individual accomplishments, and I'm going to let Bob Bruno, Committeeman Bruno, who is our Director of Recreation, and who is spearheading this award event tonight, too. He wants to make some comments. So, Bob, I'm going to turn the meeting over to you for a moment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. This is the fun part of the job. You don't have to talk about taxes or budgets or revenue or any of that stuff. We get to honor the 2012 Whippany Park varsity girls basketball team. The mayor mentioned a few accomplishments. I noted a few more. Runner-up in the conference, no negative derogatory comments on that, with a 10-2 record, and a 25-6 record overall, which I think is the best ever. Is that true, Coach? Most wins. Ties for the most wins ever, which is amazing. And I want to make at least one personal comment. I may have a few others as we go, but that Bloomfield Tech game had to be the most exciting game in the history of that gymnasium, which has now been there about 43 years, I think. It took all the restraint I had to not jump out on the court when Alana Dudley hit that three-pointer to send it to overtime. It was incredible. So I think what we'd like to do now is call the girls up individually. We have a shirt and a certificate to present to each of you, and then have you stay up front, and then we'll get a team picture when we're all finished. And when we do that, we have, I want to mention some of the individual honors that you've achieved as well. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's do that. Okay.
So,
ladies,
Mr. Schleifer, perhaps you can assist.
Sure, I can help you with that. Want to help me out?
Francioli and myself. And the room's not that big, and I have a loud voice, so I don't need to sit behind the microphone here. I think what we'll do is call up the girls in grade order. We'll start with the freshmen. And we'll do that. Let's get up front here. Okay. Girls, do we use nicknames here? We're not going to know whose shirt belongs to whom.
Sarah.
Yes, that's my nickname. My real name is Serena.
Alphabetical?
Yeah.
They're alphabetical. We can't do it in grade order, girls. My apologies. All right. They mixed up my system here.
You grab the first one and everything, and the shirts.
If you don't like the color of the shirts, they were picked out by the young ladies here. You can't blame us. Okay. First, Sarah Boyages, who's a senior on the team.
I'll get out of the way for you guys. Okay.
Olivia Dudley. Congratulations, Olivia. There you go.
Thank you.
Alana Dudley. Shannon Ennis. Shannon's not with us tonight. Christine Jones. Lauren O'Connor. Ms. Patel is not here. Julie Peterson. Courtney Simon. And Shannon Wilson. On that team. Now, just a few more of the individual accomplishments I'd like to note. Sarah Boyages and Shannon Wilson, all New Jersey Athletic Conference, Liberty Division, honorable mention. Congratulations, girls. Alana Dudley, all New Jersey Athletic Conference, Liberty Division, second team. Congratulations. Olivia Dudley, all Liberty Division first team, all Morris County first team. And I believe there were small state honors in there as well. We didn't have a note of them here. Was it first team all Group 1?
Yeah.
Congratulations to you. Not only that, but Olivia is now the all-time leading scorer in the history of the Whitney Park girls basketball program, surpassing 1,700 career points.
Oh, that's
So
fantastic.
congratulations, Olivia. Lauren O'Connor, all Morris County first team, and surpassed 1,000 points in her career. So congratulations. And a few words about the esteemed head coach. Not overstating, I think we could, not to overstate, but I think Tom Wilson, probably one of the greatest head coaches in high school history, not only in New Jersey, probably the whole country. But I have a feeling, so you don't want to have too big an ego, but Tom's career record overall, 1,276 wins, which includes girls soccer, boys soccer, girls basketball, and of course softball. This year he won Morris County Coach of the Year, and his all-time basketball record is now 515 wins, which is #1 in Morris County history. The interesting thing there, and I've known Tom for about 30 years, is I think he could probably coach another 20 to 25 years, set records that could never be surpassed. I also had the privilege of playing baseball with Tom in our younger days in the Morris County Majors. Not that anybody cares about that, but we had the dubious honor of being able to pitch, not that it was dubious, both ends of a doubleheader on a Saturday, and he could come back and pitch again on Sunday if he was needed. Tom, I don't know how you did it. You had a rubber arm. But anyway, the plaque. Let's get to the important thing, and I'll just read this. This is the Township of Hanover Athletic Achievement Award. Congratulations to Tom Wilson upon his 500th career win as Whitney Park High School's head coach and Morris County's all-time winningest coach in girls basketball, surpassing 504 career wins. Township Committee, April 26, 2012. Mr. Wilson. Yes. And now I'd like to
Probably
pull
a
up.
shirt, right?
Yeah, I think we just got coach once, yeah.
Remember the advice about the shirts, girls, no hot water.
I'd also like to call up the assistant coaches. Miss Terry Gibson.
I think Terry's here.
And Coach Mark DeVico.
Oh,
Mark. Girls, fantastic job, and for those of you coming back next year, we'll look for a repeat performance, right?
Okay, now Jerry's gonna take a picture.
I gotta take a picture.
Where should we be, Jerry?
Right there.
Come over
Right-
in the
right in
girls,
front.
Can you come over in the middle?
I don't think we've done enough
You always-
pictures this year.
That's why I came up like this.
Now, quarter that.
You call me false? How I? Wait, I don't want to. That's
Oh, yeah, State Foreman, you were 5'5" and a half.
Okay, I'm gonna look really quick.
Guys gotta get closer together.
Yeah, you guys
Minivan in front.
are.
A lot of times short.
I know.
Like now.
It's quite a race.
Better people. To be
Yes.
That's nice.
One of us has got to have gotten a good picture.
Dead battery. All right.
That's Sports Illustrated, girls. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You can do that
Feel
too.
free to stay for the rest of the meeting, girls. Very exciting.
You're welcome. Oh, you're welcome. See you.
You don't say it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
See you back there.
Keith walking.
No, I am.
Ah, fantastic.
Come on.
Absolutely,
All right.
absolutely fantastic. Give them a second. And then we'll do this.
Thank you. See you there.
Approval of them. I'll open the public
Well, we'll do one more, and then we're gonna open.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we'll do one more, okay. All right, all clear?
I think it's
All
clear.
right, good? Okay, very good. Girls are all set, that's fine. We have another proclamation, ladies and gentlemen, to do tonight, and one I will tell you that's quite near and dear to me and my family, having gone through a very difficult year of last year. And this is a proclamation of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover celebrating the 5th Annual Susan B. Komen for the Cure, North Jersey Race for the Cure Day in Hanover Township, and that will be on May the 6th of this year. And I ordinarily don't read through the entire resolutions, but in this particular case, I am going to make an exception. And whereas breast cancer is the leading cause of death of women between the ages of 35 and 64, and increased public awareness of the disease, its risk factors and symptoms may save lives of women and men across New Jersey. And whereas the Susan G. Komen for the Cure is dedicated to education and research about causes, treatment, and the search for a cure. And whereas the Komen National Race for the Cure Series, an event of the Susan G. Komen for the Cure, is the largest series of 5-kilometer races in the world, raising public awareness and much-needed funding for breast cancer research. And whereas on Sunday, May the 6th, runners, walkers, survivors, co-survivors, and volunteers will unite at the new race location to be held at the Essex County South Mountain Recreation Complex. Essex County South Mountain, I'm pretty sure I know where that one is. For the 5th Annual Susan G. Komen for the Cure North Jersey Race for the Cure 5K certified run, 5K walk, 1.5K walk, nothing less than that for me. Half a K walk that I could. And Fun Walk, there you go. And whereas last year, the Susan G. Komen for the Cure, North Jersey Race for the Cure, brought together thousands of women and men and children from northern New Jersey and beyond and raised over $1.5 million for the North Jersey Service Region to help fund breast cancer research and provide local community life-saving education, screening, and treatment services. And whereas the Susan G. Komen for the Cure organization is the leading advocacy group in educating people concerning breast cancer disease, and in this regard, the governing body wishes to recognize its efforts in increasing public awareness and to honor those who have dedicated their lives to researching, treating, curing, and caring for victims and those who have lost their lives to breast cancer. Now, therefore, be it resolved by this Township Committee of the Township of Hanover, County of Morris, in the State of New Jersey, that this Sunday, May the 6th, hereby proclaimed Susan G. Komen for the Cure, North Jersey Race for the Cure Day in Hanover Township, and that all Hanover Township residents are encouraged to participate in the Susan G. Komen for the Cure, North Jersey Race for the Cure, to help raise funds, awareness, and fight this life-threatening disease, join the celebration of survivors, and to honor those who have dedicated their lives to researching, treating, and curing and caring for the victims and for those who have lost their lives in this battle with breast cancer. And it's from we of the Township Committee and signed by myself as mayor. And I'd like to present that tonight. Okay, our recipient of this proclamation. You can come forward. Okay.
Sure.
You want me to take a picture?
Yes. That's a nice
Go
one.
ahead. We'll get a picture of you too.
Okay, thank you. Very nice. We're going to get you a little more press coverage here. Give you the certificate, and there you go. And he's going to take your picture with that howdy-doody camera.
That's our steam engineer's camera.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Everybody come out and join us, please.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
I think I'm up for the fun walk.
That's okay.
So,
Yeah.
what was that one, 100 yards?
That'll about cover it for me.
I'll race for you at 8:30. I'll be running.
Oh, there you
Not in
go.
the high heels, though.
Now you're going to
Take care.
embarrass
Have a
me.
good evening.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, you're going to embarrass me then. Okay. Gentlemen, at this time, I'd like to open the meeting to the public for any items not, I'll open the meeting to the public, period, for items on the agenda or not on the agenda. Motion to open?
So moved?
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is open. Anyone who would like to address the Township Committee at this time can do so from the podium, giving us your name and address for the record.
I have nothing to say.
Seeing none, hearing none.
Motion to close?
Motion to close.
So moved?
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Oh, and second.
Aye.
Aye.
We are closed. Mr. Administrator.
Okay, the first item of business, ladies and gentlemen, we have a request from the Hanover Township School District Business Administrator on the request for drawdown of debt service taxes in the amount of $29,981.58. May we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Schleifer.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bruno, and roll call, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
And Mr. Franciulli.
Aye.
So approved. We continue, ladies and gentlemen, with the next item on the agenda. This is ordinance number 10-12. This is an ordinance to regulate signs in the public rights of way, amending Chapter 248 of the Code of the Township, entitled Streets and Sidewalks, by establishing a new Article 6 entitled Signs. We have the proof of publication that the ordinance and the notice of introduction appeared in full in the April 19th issue of the the Daily Record in accordance with law. May we now have a motion to convene the public hearing?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Franciulli and Mr. Schleifer.
Second?
Second. Mr.
Third.
Bruno. Third. On
Everyone's-
roll call. Everybody
Covered.
wants to get into the act.
We're covered.
Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
And Mr. Franciulli.
Aye.
Is there anyone in chambers wishing to be heard concerning this ordinance?
Could you just tell me what that
You
means,
could
please?
step to the microphone, give us
Sorry.
your name and address.
Sure.
and-
Hi, my name is Fred Partridge. I live at 805 Delwood Lane in the Oak Ridge Townhouses here in Whippany. And while I'm here to listen to another issue that's going to come up later on. This is one of my pet peeves, is those little wire signs that are all over the place.
Don't they get you?
They get me like
You
nothing. So I'm
just don't
hoping
like
that's what
to go
this addresses.
kickboxing. I, you know, I don't understand what the
Is this
problem
what that's
That's what
referring
it's all
to?
about, to
Yeah.
not have them so that they're an obstruction to traffic signals, for example, or they shouldn't be in the public right of way, because anywhere from the curb to almost 10 feet in is public right of way, and they should be prohibited. That's the intent of the ordinance.
Thank you. Now that Einstein Moomji's out of business, maybe that'll take care of 90% of it, but
Well, Einstein Moomji had special permission through the federal bankruptcy court to post any signs,
Really?
no matter where, as long as they didn't obstruct with a traffic signal. And we checked with the township attorney, and the township attorney said.
couldn't do anything about it.
Not
That-
because the
that
federal
time
court order.
period should have lapsed, right? That time period? They're still into
No.
that time period?
No time period given.
Longest
No
going out of
time period
business in
given.
history, I think,
So they could be in bankruptcy for the next 12 years.
seemingly.
I think every few years, that's their business plan. It appears that they go into bankruptcy.
There are
reorganize,
companies
and-
that operate as bankruptcy companies, yeah, and
the
they do very well by
kickboxing
it.
and the Hanover singles and all these other things aren't permitted anymore.
The proliferation of all those kinds of signs that you and I have seen, including political signs, is
Mhm.
covered in this ordinance. There are some, I will say, there are portions of this ordinance which we are concerned with, because some signs are very beneficial. In the case of our local real estate firms, et cetera, who are selling houses on a one-day event, something like that. We want to look further, and but
People posting these signs are required to have a permit?
they are not. And but under these conditions, the permit or no permit, once this ordinance is passed, then the signs become an illegal issue, and they become subject to significant fines.
That's good. If you need to
So,
deputize me. I'll
do
be
not
happy to
pass
take a
go.
look.
Do not pass go. Go straight to checkbook. You know. So
Thank you.
that's what that means. But there will be a recommendation on this tonight. Is you want to close that public portion?
Well, is there anyone else wishing to be heard concerning this ordinance?
Hearing none. Yeah, I'm going to motion for, gentlemen, we're going to close that portion of the public meeting, and now motion,
Motion to continue.
on the motion is to continue the hearing and to carry this.
Okay. We have a motion by the mayor to continue the public hearing to the May 10th Township Committee meeting, also at 8:30 p.m. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Schleifer. Now, this is the motion to continue the public hearing. Mr. Schleifer?
Aye.
Mr. Bruno?
Aye.
And Mr. Franciulli.
Aye.
So approved. Motion continues the public hearing to the May 10th meeting. Next is ordinance number 11-12. This amends and supplements section 1 of ordinance 31-11 and chapter 61 of the code, entitled Salaries and Compensation, Personnel Policies, with the inclusion of a new position entitled Human Resource Specialist. The ordinance and the notice of introduction appeared in full in the April 19th issue of the Daily Record, in accordance with law. May we have a motion to convene the public hearing?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Bruno,
Second.
second by Mr. Schleifer. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer,
Aye.
Mr. Bruno,
Aye.
and Mr. Franciulli.
Aye.
Is there anyone in chambers wishing to be heard concerning ordinance 11-12?
Yes. I'll come over here. Hi, everybody. My name is Paula Cazzarelli. I live at 5 Sterling Court, Whippany. This new position, do you have a job description for it?
Yes, we do.
And this ordinance, I didn't read it in full, so it contains the salary as well?
The ordinance contains a salary, that's correct.
And when were those established for that? I mean, you are establishing this position, so you have done all this due diligence regarding it. When are you planning on interviewing for this position?
We're still in the process of reviewing applications, and we'll make a final decision very shortly.
Okay. All right, thank you.
If you'd like to have information or copy the ordinance, you're entitled to it.
No, I know. Thank you. I was just curious, and then I.
Oh, all right.
Ms. Cosarelli is an applicant, so
Yes, I
she's
am.
Oh.
certainly entitled to get a copy of the job description. We do that when we do the interviews.
Yeah.
So If you're interviewed, you'll be getting a copy of the job description.
Anyone else want to be heard on that? No?
Okay, hearing none, may we have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Bruno,
Second.
second by Mr. Schleifer. On roll call for adoption, be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover, amending and supplementing Section 1 of Ordinance 31-11 and Chapter 61 of the Code of the Township entitled Salaries and Compensation, Personnel Policies, with the inclusion of a new position entitled Human Resource Specialist and associated rate of compensation, be passed on final reading, and that a notice of the final passage of the ordinance will be published in the May 3rd issue of the Morris County Daily Record in accordance with law." Now on adoption, may we have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Schleifer.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bruno. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So adopted.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue with the agenda, we have the consent agenda resolutions. We have two additional resolutions which do not appear on your agenda but were discussed by the governing body during the conference work session. The first is a resolution of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover. And this is a replacement position appointing Krista M. DiGiorgio as the Township's replacement part-time assistant control person, account clerk in the building department for a 6-month probationary period commencing May 14th, 2012 and ending November 14th, 2012, and establishing her compensation at $19 per hour under Job Group 3 in accordance with Salary Guide C of Salary Ordinance 31-11. This is a conditional offer of employment subject to the applicant receiving a satisfactory medical examination, also a spinal evaluation, a negative drug test, and a negative criminal history record check. And the other resolution not appearing on your agenda is a resolution authorizing the execution of a developer's agreement by and between Waterview at Hanover, LLC, and the Township regarding the construction of 60 dwelling units in 5 multifamily buildings and all related site improvements on property located at the intersection of the American Road and East Hanover Avenue on the border between the Township and the Borough of Morris Plains, and also known as Lot 1 and Block 602, set forth on the tax map of the Township of Hanover, and Lot 8 and Block 11, set forth on the tax map of the Borough of Morris Plains. The execution of the developer's agreement is subject to the receipt of the cash and surety performance bond and any other instruments as described in the developer's agreement. Are there any questions from members of the governing body concerning any of the resolutions which appear on the consent agenda?
No, none?
Okay, may we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Bruno,
Second.
second by Mr. Schleifer. On roll call for approval, Mr. Schleifer,
Aye.
Mr. Bruno,
Aye.
and Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So approved. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 raffle applications for consideration. Raffle application 2549, Give and Go Incorporated for a Tricky Tray on the 3rd of June at the Ukrainian Cultural Center between 1 and 5 p.m. Raffle application 2550, also Give and Go Incorporated. This is for a 50-50 raffle on the 3rd of June, also at the Ukrainian Cultural Center between 1 and 5 p.m. We have a motion for approval on the 2 raffle applications.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Schleifer, seconded by Mr. Francioli. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer,
Aye.
Mr. Bruno,
Aye.
and Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So approved. Mr. Chairman, members of the Township Committee, that clears the agenda of the Business Administrator, Township Clerk, and I thank you. We also have the approval of the Township Committee minutes, which were distributed by the town to the Township Committee for the regular meeting of February 23rd, 2012. Is there a motion for approval on the minutes?
Motion to approve.
So motioned by Mr. Francioli,
Second?
second by Mr. Bruno. On roll call, Mr. Schleifer.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So approved. Mr. Chairman, members of the Township Committee, that clears the agenda of the Business Administrator, Township Clerk, and I thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Appreciate that. Very good. Gentlemen, is there any other business from the Township Committee at this time?
No, sir. No.
Nice job at the championship ladies.
Thank
this
you.
evening. That was
It was
very,
an honor being in their presence.
And absolutely incredible. They were fantastic.
Quite a run, I'll tell you. It was a lot of fun. I made it to a few games. It was really a lot of fun to watch them play.
That's great.
The coach should go down in the history books. You're right. He's a young man.
I,
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Kenny, anything?
No, nothing.
You're all right.
I'm good.
Just one announcement from the Economic Development Committee, and it's been published already, but it's certainly good to reinforce it. On May the 4th, which is a Friday, from 8 o'clock in the morning till 9:30 that very same morning, there'll be a breakfast for the brokerage community. Invitations have been sent out. We've got something in the neighborhood of 50-plus responses already. And the Economic Development Committee will have members of the county and the state here to discuss incentives for development in not only our town, but other towns as well. But it'll give Hanover Township an opportunity to spotlight all of the properties within our town that are possibilities for redevelopment and development. So everyone is invited to attend who is interested in that particular area. Again, Friday, May 4th, 8 in the morning till 9:30. So hope to see you. Okay, if there's nothing further from the committee, I'd like the motion to open the floor once again.
So moved.
Moved and seconded.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is open. If anyone would like to discuss anything with the Township Committee, you can do so from either that microphone or this microphone. You can even use this microphone.
Once again, I'm Fred Partridge. I live at 805 Dulwood Lane in the Oak Ridge Townhouses. I go for a walk most mornings, and I walk down Eden Lane, come back through the old paper mill property, which you've got the Whippany River running alongside between our property and the paper mill property.
Right.
It's come to my attention there's been a tremendous erosion on the far bank, and I know you've been made aware of it, and I was wondering what action will be taken or what we can expect. If you've not seen it, it's really precarious back there.
Yeah, Ken, you want?
Yeah, Fred, on April 18th, there was a group of us, including our township engineer, and we, members of the Whippany I think it's the Whippany River Watershed Committee, took a look. One of the primary areas we were looking at was by Central Park, but then we came down to that area behind your condos there, and we observed that condition that you're describing. It's pretty treacherous. We're advised the property is owned by the county of Morris, right, Jerry?
That's correct.
And one of the action items on our workshop agenda, our public workshop agenda, was to notify them in writing. We have notified them by phone calls,
Yes.
told them how concerned we are of it. And I had pictures from my iPad when I was out, and I showed everyone on the committee, and we were just thankful it wasn't our property. It is serious. We understand that. I don't know it's an engineering solution that has to come about on what to do. And of course, not only the danger to the homeowners as that creeps closer to your condos, but also the health of the river with all the silt running through it. So it needs to be addressed. We're on top of it. We understand it.
Good.
Our engineer is going to get together with our administrator, and we're going to put a letter out so it's in writing, so there's no misunderstandings about our concern for the township. So we're going to ask them to take action on this.
Thank you. Which county office would be responsible for that? Would it be the engineer, the county engineer?
Jerry, can you
I
answer?
think it's a combination of the county engineer and the county parks.
I'm sorry, and what was the
County
second?
parks.
Oh, and the parks, okay.
Because I think they manage some of their open space lands. So I believe it might be under the county park, but I believe they might be under the engineers overall.
Have you received a response from the
No,
county?
no.
Okay, because when you see it, it's only going to worsen, and quickly, I'm afraid,
I'm-
with any continuing rain, and it's something to look at.
Yeah.
I took pictures myself, but the pictures don't do justice as to the severity of the situation, so.
Well, even the pictures, I have pictures I showed on my iPad to the Township Committee tonight, and the administrator and the engineer, and it's massive. It's a massive.
It is, and it's going to get
I don't know what
worse.
you call that where the bank has eroded and trees are starting to come down. And
One tree has come down, and I counted about 18 other trees that are ready to pitch forward and into the river, so.
they will go, it's imminent. We noticed that the area was taped off.
That's right.
And I believe that was done by our DPW personnel. The police called them out one night when they received the complaint, so.
Actually, when I first heard about it, I walked between the buildings, and you don't get a sense of it until you go down to the property and look from across the river. And
Right.
It's really something, so. Well, thank you for taking care of it.
That's quite a cut. Just for the purposes of the timing on this, this was a discussion for this evening, and the Township Committee's action, as Committeeman Schleifer outlined, is to prepare a letter with photographs, and they'll be forwarded on to County Engineering Department, but immediately, so they'll be put on notice that we've got a concern here, something imminent. Good evening.
Good evening. Jim Neidhart, 3414 Appleton Way, Whippany, Eden Lane Condos, another condo guy. I'm here to talk tonight about the commercial signage in town. I know Hanover Township has a history with commercial signage and, you know, how much you allow and how much you don't allow, and lots of debate. And I know it's a sensitive issue in terms of how much...
Current ordinance, the current draft ordinance, is that the one you're talking about, or you're just...
Actually, no. I have a very specific concern. I was just given a little too lengthy introduction. There's a commercial business that I think is abusing their rights to put up signs, and it seems like it's gone on for over a year. The Einstein-Mungi people, thousands of signs. I mean, on one street, they'll put 20 in a row in some cases, and then they got the clowns jumping up and down like lunatics on Route 10, and I'm not a hot ass in terms of stuff like that. I can put up with anything for a short amount of time, but I think it's taken away from the character of the town, not just for the residents, but the people that walk through the town, and I think they're abusing it. I mean, I don't know if they're ever going to go out of business. They may be doing so well with the out-of-business sale that they may decide not to go out of business again.
You feel exactly the way the rest of this august body feels, is that we are being taken advantage of, and there's a reason for that. I will tell you, and I'll have the administrator explain it to you, but were we to have our way, that would be off the streets immediately.
I figured that.
This is a business of going bankrupt. Let's be clear in my mind, and hiding behind whatever chapters you want to take, 11, 12, whatever they are. These companies go on sometimes in perpetuity and make better profits and more sales through bankruptcies of this type than they do from a conventional retail operation. Having said that, that's my opinion, not necessarily that of the rest of this Township Committee, so I'll qualify that. But the administrator will tell you what the issue is on that matter.
Several months ago, Jim, the construction official received a copy of a court order, federal bankruptcy court, and there was a provision in that order that stipulated that Einstein-Mungi had permission from the federal court to use whatever means possible, including the placement of signage, as long as it did not obstruct traffic signals within rights of way. And I called the township attorney, spoke to the township attorney to see if we could challenge that. His answer was no, because they have exclusive right, because of this so-called bankruptcy, to try to get rid of all their stock and inventory. So, according to that order that was signed by a federal bankruptcy judge, it gave them carte blanche to put up that signage.
It doesn't, I'm not a lawyer, but...
I can show it to you.
No, I understand that, but I don't know anywhere in the Constitution or the laws of the federal government that gives them permission. I thought there was some amendment or something that said something like all the powers that aren't specifically given to the federal government are reserved for the states and the people.
No, in fact, it said exclusively, it said it did not take into consideration state, local, or federal ordinances or laws.
That's shocking.
And it's being taken advantage of. You know, that's my opinion of it. And, you know, but they, apparently, they got a decision on this, and apparently they took the steps necessary to properly file for bankruptcy and use that, you know, in this case. My opinion again.
Otherwise, we would have enforced our ordinances long ago.
So we're stuck.
Well, I
Seems
guess
that
we
way.
can always send our property maintenance officer and say, hey, enough is enough, and see what their reaction is. Do that.
Okay.
Well,
Maybe some of the concerned citizens of the town can come up with some creative ways to,
I can tell you this, Jim,
Help.
though, they're very, very fastidious because they do put them up for the weekend, and they're gone by Monday morning. Because I'm here at work by 7:15, and when I go down Troy Hills Road, for example, they're all gone.
yeah, so they're all lawyered up, they know exactly what to do. Okay, it was a curiosity question. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. It is a circus act, though, I'll tell you that. That's for sure.
I'm back. Paula Cosarelli, 5 Sterling Court, Whippany. I recently visited a Board of Ed meeting, and Committeeman Capola was there, and I mentioned they were presenting their budget, and I mentioned the idea, of course, this is what is being advocated at the state level, federal, shared services. What I recommended is, has there ever been a conversation with the Board of Ed in terms of sharing IT services?
We've conferred with the Board of Ed, and by the way, other mayors in the regional system on other matters, but not IT services. But we do have an open dialogue, and you know, if there were advantages to sitting down and doing that, then I would certainly be in favor of it. If other districts, to your knowledge, been sharing IT services?
Yes, the Borough of Tenafly shares with the Tenafly Board of Education, and it works quite well. As a matter of fact, the Board of Education is the mainstay, and then the borough contracts with the Board of Ed, and it works quite well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I still am in contact with the administrator over there and some of the people at the Board of Ed, and as a resident here, I'd be more than happy if this is something that the committee would like to research or, you know, be involved with. I'd be more than happy to gather some information and work as a resident here to bring that as a cost-effective manner here for our town. You know, honestly, I spoke to the administrator and she thought it was great. She told me it saved $1 million, were her exact words. So, you know, I don't know what your personnel is in terms of IT here, or really I just know what's going on at the Board of Ed.
Right.
But it's something that is worth evaluating.
Well, no, I don't disagree with you there. It would be something worth looking into, but we'd have to probably sit down and discuss what their present needs are in that area and what ours are, and then compare and see whether or not there's advantages to us doing something in shared services. Because wherever possible, you know, we'd like to employ shared services, as long as it's to our mutual advantages. You know, but we can bring that up to the superintendent of the region and a member of a Board of Ed here on, no, we did. And we can bring that up to Ms. Grassi and see what her reaction is or what her comments are on that too. And happy to do that.
Or Mr. Pepper, whatever district.
Well, you're talking the elementary level or the regional level?
I was kind of talking K through 8, you know, Tenafly's K through 12.
Right.
However, you know, it certainly could work. If you're doing it for one district, you can certainly work it for another. I mean, you know, it is a little different, being that we have 2 different districts, one for K through 8, one for 9 through 12. However, you know, the agreement is the agreement. You know, the provision of service provided by one sole coordinator. I mean, and at that point, why do you even have, you know, IT at a regional? You have 3 IT locations that probably could be condensed to one. The other thing is now I know recently you hired a new recreation director who I know, a colleague of mine actually used to work with her down in Rutherford, very nice woman, Denise Brennan. What was the established salary for that position?
$82,000.
Okay, so that was the top of the range that was advertised. So, now, what was the salary of the individual that left, Matt's salary? What was his salary before he left?
$59,000.
59. So probably about a 42% increase. That's a pretty big disparity, you know, given 2% levy caps and whatnot.
Matt's predecessor, Lenny Saluro, was
96,000.
96,000. So there is a big range there from Lenny down to Matt, who really didn't have the experience, and then going back to Denise, who had 13. I think
He was an
13
interim
years.
personnel at that point.
Yeah, who had 13 years of township experience, both in Mountain Lakes and Rutherford. So it's still, I mean, if you look at it on a percentage basis, less than what we were paying Lenny, who was the last person who was hired, you know, under those conditions.
Well, I think salary needs to be viewed based on what this new individual is going to bring to the position. And budget-wise, you budgeted 58 and 211, and, you know, going forward, I'm not going to go back to when Lenny was here, but it's a great disparity going from 2011 to 2012. And, you know, I'm just hoping that based on, one would hope that you get what you pay for, and I hope that our programs will be expanded to include, because it's interesting, our municipality, 40% of our residents is age 50 or older. So, what are we doing for that population? And particularly, what are we doing for the population of middle school up until 10th grade where the kids cannot work? You know, that's something I think that's always been an area that could use some improvement. And, I'm hoping that, this individual can bring that new talent here and new ideas and of seeking other funding and making relationships with our business community. We all know private supports public. So I'm hoping that that's the case, because I was concerned about that disparity in salary. And, I hope that we're not just going to get the status quo, in other words. So, I do wish Denise the best of luck.
Thank you.
And that's what I have to say for tonight. Thank you.
The individual, our new recreation director, went through extensive interview process with our recreation commission. I think that went over a period of months, if I'm not mistaken, Bob.
Yes.
And narrowed it down to several candidates, two of which, she was one of which of those two. They in turn were interviewed again by members of the township committee. We're confident about her background and her accomplishments and her past experience, and we are looking for her to take our recreation department and programs to its next level, and I'm confident that she'll be able to do that. Very good.
Are there marks in terms of, progress that you plan? What evaluation tools are being used to evaluate progress and evaluation of
I'm
success
sure-
or non-success of existing services, new services?
You want to speak to us from the podium, please, so
Oh,
we can
all right.
hear you?
To say that we're looking toward programs, I mean, what is your schematic in terms of, what is your plan, your business plan or strategic plan in terms of what your long and short-term goals for the recreation department? And, I've never really seen anything established. I'm concerned about it because, quite honestly, the department has decreased in man. And to do the job right, things really need to be laid out clearly. So, I'm just curious, what evaluation tools are in and long-term goals for this department?
I'm waiting for you to take a break.
Okay.
The Recreation Department is controlled by Recreation Commission. There are members of that commission that are appointed by the Township Committee. That commission sets the standards and sets the evaluation standards as well. They were the same ones that made the recommendation to us. That comes into the liaisonship of Mr. Bruno, Committeeman Bruno as well. So we look to them for their evaluations along the way, and if we have issues, et cetera, in examining those evaluations, we'll question them or we'll turn to them for answers in that area.
And just in terms of some of the goals, we want to increase the number of programs that we have in place. One of the things that's imminent is to bring back the fishing tournament. That did not take place last year. So I've asked Ms. Brennan to get that resurrected, and we have the fire department donating the money to get the fishing tournaments going again. We want to bring back Hanover Township Day. I don't know whether it's going to be possible for this year. That was one of our goals as we get into January. But unfortunately, it took a while to go through the vetting process, so I don't know whether we're going to get to do that again this year, but certainly it's on the agenda for next year. We want to increase the number of summer concerts to go from 3 to 4, interviewing the bands and doing that type of thing, finding out which bands are available. That's something that falls into the superintendent's lap. We want to increase participation in the programs that we do have. So we want to increase the number of programs, and we want to increase the participation. It seems like you're asking for a very specific schematic of how we're going to measure her progress. One of the things I can say is that she's a probationary employee, as all new employees are, so that if we're not happy with her performance and her results over the first 6 months, we can make a change. I don't anticipate doing that. Not to get into all the specifics, but you're asking some specific questions. I think we're happy to have her based on her background and experience. She actually took a pay cut to come to Hanover Township. So it's a situation where I think we had 30-some-odd applicants. Joe, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It was posted for quite a while. We had an interim superintendent who I think did a good job, but we do want to expand the programs, both in the scope and the level of participation. And one of the things Ms. Brennan brings is a wealth of experience in programs that she's run both in Mountain Lakes and in Rutherford. Rutherford is a town of 18 or 19,000 residents. Hanover's got about 13,000. She had a lot more responsibilities there as far as scheduling fields. She's made proposals for part-time park rangers, so there's some things that she's brought to us that were ideas that were incorporated in her prior jobs that we'll have to determine whether there's really any value for Hanover. But we don't, I think, to answer your question, and I know it's a long answer, we don't have a specific set of guidelines that will say, yes, if you do A, B, C, and D, then we're happy, but if you miss any of those things, then we're unhappy. It's more increasing participation, increasing the number of programs. I think those are two of the goals that I have.
Okay, thank you. One of the things, as you mentioned, the concert series, expanding the concert series, I'm assuming with Denise's experience, you're going to eliminate a promoter and she will do all the negotiation of these contracts, and this way you can save money and certainly add more contracts. I think previously you have used a promoter for these concerts, so.
Yeah, that's
These concerts are typically sponsored by paid for and sponsored by various business and companies within the township, and I think that has been our past experience. Morristown Airport being one of the major contributors, and several engineering firms along the way. Of the 4 or 5 concerts we have, those were all donated in that fashion.
Oh, I know. I think it's wonderful. Honestly, I ran concert series in Parsippany many years ago. I'm just saying, if you cut out the promoter, they usually get a 30% cut off the top of the cost of the show. So you eliminate that, you can even give more bang to your buck to your sponsors, which I'm sure they'd appreciate.
That's good to know.
Yeah. No, I wish you the best. Hey, listen, I appreciated the opportunity to interview for the position. It's okay, I did not get it. I'm still a resident, and I am concerned of how our tax dollars are spent, and I appreciate you being here. We're a little light on presence, but that's okay. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else like to be heard at this time? Hearing none. Seeing none. Motion closed.
So moved?
Seconded?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
On that?
Aye.
Okay, motion for adjourn.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn. Very good.
Have we finished with the conference?
The youth program is now in place now too, right? For Friday nights for the kids? Fun nights. Fun nights,
yeah, that's
Yeah.
substance awareness. It's not part of rec, believe it or not.
That's their event.